Good evening, everyone, and it's great to see all of you, and I appreciate the fact that many of you showed up for this extra meeting that we've added to the schedule. We have another important and packed agenda, and it's great to see all of you, and I appreciate the fact that...
It does it every time.
I have to do that again? No. All right, we have another very packed agenda for the evening, and it's going to be a very exciting one. In fact, tonight may be our most important meeting to date. It represents a shift in our work together from assessing our needs and our shared priorities to putting together a transformational mobility network and the beginnings of our ultimate deliverables to Mayor Lyles. Our agenda tonight and for all future meetings will be organized in three parts, which correspond to three parts of the final recommendation we will make to Mayor Lyles. Those three parts are the statement of needs. That'll be a part of every agenda from now on. Second part will be our future transportation strategy and outcomes as described in what we're going to call the Transformational Mobility Network. And third, recommendations around the funding and financing tools to implement that transformational mobility network. Before I go further though, the individual responsible for all of us spending the time we have had together virtually is in the meeting tonight, and that is Mayor Lyles herself. And I want to give her an opportunity to say hello to you and any other remarks she might want to make. Mayor Lyles.
Thank you, Mayor Gant. I really want to express my appreciation, the caliber of conversation that you're having, the way that you've proceeded in your work, and actually the presence. I mean, to be a group as busy as you all are, to be and have the attendance, and I think over 99% is just amazing. I think it does show two things. One, it shows the willingness of participation and civic engagement in the city, but it also shows that this is one of the greatest needs that we have for the long-term future viability of our city as we grow 300,000 people in the next 20 years. So I want to say thank you. I read the agenda today. I just can't imagine that this was able to be done during a pandemic and with the focus that we have. So if nothing else, I want to say to you, if you can remember nothing else, I want you to know how much I appreciate the effort, the time, the energy, and commitment. So thank you very much, Mayor Gant.
And thank you, Mayor Lyles, for being with us, and stay as long as you want. Let me go on. Tonight, we're going to focus on the first two parts of that strategy that we talked about in terms of how we're going to conduct the rest of our meetings. We will focus first on the implementation, the statement of the needs again, and then our future transportation strategy. And then we will ultimately get around to what the network will cost. But tonight we're going to focus on the first two parts. At our October 22nd meeting, we're really going to focus more on the implementation itself. That is what the network will cost and how we might pay for it. Before we begin, I'd like to remind the task force members that you have at your disposal a digital raise your hand button that you can use to participate in the robust conversation I know we're going to have. Our support team will do what they can, the best they can, to monitor when you've got your hand raised and to ensure that everyone has a chance to chime in. You can also use the chat feature to contribute thoughts as we move along. I look forward to another robust discussion, as good a discussion as we can have in this format. As always, we're going to end the meeting with reactions to the public comments that we're going to be receiving throughout the meeting. As in previous meetings, we'll start tonight with a quick reminder of our vision and our mission. This is the vision statement we've been given by the mayor through the Charlotte Future 2040 Comprehensive Plan process. And you see it on your screen in front of you. On the next slide, you'll see the rough outline for the final memo that we will deliver to Mayor Lyles. It's going to deal with needs, the strategy, and the outcome. That is what the network might look like. And then our proposals for the implementation. That is the recommendation of the financing and the funding options. As I said, tonight represents a shift in our process toward a greater focus on producing this final memo. Needs, strategy and outcomes, and implementation. Including tonight, we will only have 4 meetings left together. And so I'd like to invite and encourage our technical team to begin preparing the draft materials on this memo based on our conversations as they will follow in these next meetings. In our remaining meetings, it will be necessary for us to review that draft memo material and provide our oversight, guidance, and editing of same. Now we're going to jump into the themes that have emerged from 2 different survey tools. Ty is going to describe those survey tools for us at this time.
Thank you, Mayor Gant. Good evening, everyone. So as you know, I think we shared with you last time that we have 2 surveys and polling going on. One obviously is not, it's a typical public survey we would do as part of our transportation program as a city. And the other one is really more of a private polling that uses statistically relevant information conducted by ALG Research. So as part of the American Cities Climate Challenge, we have a series of technical partners, and ALG Research is one of them. And what they've done for us in the month of August is to conduct a private poll on transportation. And so they will be speaking to us today. Ben is on, and he will speak to us about the results of what they found as relates to the work that we're doing. But you also know that we've had a public survey that's also been out on the streets since August, and we actually up today. And as of today, I believe we've got over 1,200 responses. So I'll let Ben present to you what we found with regards to what our residents of our county, but also of Union, Gaston, as well as Iredell, what they have shared with us with regards to transportation. And I think that will really inform a lot of the work you're doing, and it will also inform the outcome of this work overall. So Ben, I'll turn that to you, and then Scott Curry will follow with the kind of a summary of the public responses that we've had to the public survey. So Ben?
Great. Thank you, Taro. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ben Lennon. I'm a senior associate at ALG Research. We conducted this survey. We can go to the methodology slide. During the middle of August, we conducted a survey of a little more than 500 registered voters in Gaston, Iredell, Mecklenburg, and Union County. The 501 respondents are representative of the regional population in terms of both geography and demographics. and the survey was conducted online. We can go to the next slide. The big takeaway here is that throughout the region, there is demand and support for increasing the number of transportation options. The support for this cuts across all of the lines we looked at, whether it's demographic or partisan or geographic. There is a demand for increasing transportation options in the region because people believe that it will help businesses and help the economy. Next slide. To underscore that, 84% of respondents agreed that having more transportation options is important. Nearly 4 in 5 said that they support expanding the number of local transportation options, and full 3/4 of the survey said there needs to be more transportation options like buses and light rail. Next slide. We broke those questions out here by geography and partisanship. The dark blue number is the percent that agree that they support expanding the number of local transportation options. And what you can see is that while there are slight differences here, overwhelmingly, we're looking at 4, 5 to 1 support levels. This isn't the sort of issue where there is a huge groundswell of opposition. Across the board in this region, people support increasing local transportation options. Next slide. Here we took that same question and broke it out by age, race, and gender, and we see the same thing. Across the board, there is strong support for increasing local transportation options. Support is particularly strong among younger people under the age of 50, African-American residents, but there isn't anywhere that's a real blind spot here. Across the board, people support increasing the number of local transportation options. Next slide. And we asked people a number of statements and asked them whether or not they agree. 80% of people said businesses in their community would benefit from new investments that make it safer and more convenient to walk, bike, and ride the bus or light rail. And by more than a 2 to 1 margin, people said my quality of life would be better if it were safer and more convenient to walk, bike, or ride bus or light rail to more places. This isn't solely an economic issue. That is a large driver here, but it is also a quality of life issue. And across all of the regions and all of the different ways that we broke this out, it's very clear that residents in the area support increasing transportation options and are on board with this project. With that, I'm happy to take any questions or turn it back over.
Anybody raising their hands for a question? Yes, there's a question from.
I raised my hand. Pedro Perez from Charlotte Family Housing.
Mr. Perez, how are you this evening?
I am good, sir. How are you?
Fine.
Both your honors, I am delighted that you're both on and honored to be a part of this. My question is, I looked at the survey and I did not see the full diversity